My name is John Sviokla, and I'm chairman of a research and capability building AI company called GAI Insights. And I'm delighted to be moderating today. And I'm going to ask each of the panel members to give a brief introduction. And we're going to talk about the role of AI in productivity and innovation in enterprises.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Meher Hanafi. I'm the Senior VP of Engineering at Betterworks. We are an enterprise performance and talent management SaaS. We've been building AI into our product and for the last 3 years. It's really amazing to see the potential of AI, but also it comes with its challenges, which we would love to talk about today. And I lead our software engineering team also to adopt AI and use it the best way possible to speed up performance and productivity in general.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Urshid Parekh at Mayfield. Mayfield is one of the founding venture capital firms in Silicon Valley, started in the 60s. We've backed over 500 sort of founders, 120 plus IPOs, 150 plus acquisitions. I invest in enterprise and healthcare, and glad to be all of here. And before Mayfield, I had been an entrepreneur, operator, executive in companies. So I've seen the dot-com years, the mobile years, the cloud years, and now it's great AI years. So.
My name is Brian Solis. I'm the head of global innovation at ServiceNow. I'm also an author and recovering analyst as well. And also ServiceNow started in the services business, but now we're migrating into the business of business transformation and have been on a steady path of AI acquisitions and building for the last 9 years. And it's a new era for us. So looking forward to this conversation.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Tarun Raisoni. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of a startup called Groove AI. We started the company last year, February, and our primary focus is we are an AI-enabled and AI-driven services platform that focuses on outcomes for our customers.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate to have these 4 folks who have been entrepreneurs, investors, and also leaders of organizations in terms of transformation and helping other organizations transform. Man, I want to start off with you in terms of, we talked about this issue of productivity, and I know as we're preparing for this thing, we're talking a little bit about it. You drive a ton of technology talent, and how does AI relate to productivity in the software and development part?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been all hearing about the impact of AI in software engineering, and it's been a conversation that we've been running for a long time right now. Honestly, the adoption of AI within software engineering, like there's a spectrum. A lot of people are so excited about AI and what they can do, especially when they start exploring and experimenting, like the potential of running and building things pretty fast. On the other edge of the spectrum, there are some people who are more conservative, like more senior and architect level engineers who feel like AI might lead to bad design patterns, bad decisions, and it's generating a lot of code for us humans to review and be able to manage. And for me as a technical leader, obviously I need to be able to understand the spectrum and make the right decisions to lead the team in a way where, everyone at their own pace and their own level of acceptance of AI help them to be better and really to get the best out of AI. And the best is obviously the middle where, we need to be aware of how much capable AI is in providing code and building code, but any code that is generated by AI should be owned and maintained the same way as any other code that is written by human. So that's where I think the culture that I'm trying to build in the software engineering team is like, AI can generate 99% of your code base, as long as you own it, as you maintain it, and as make it meet all the design pattern and the best practices. And at the end of the day, we don't care if it's generated by AI or not. And so that's helping a lot with the conversation, with the adoption. And then people are coming to this middle ground understanding of like, AI is going to let me do better and write more code and deliver more products. So I'm going to take it, even if it's going to change my perception to my job and to my, I used to really believe in the craftsmanship of building software. Sure. Like that's what I do. But if AI is capable of writing code by training these agents, by providing them context to write code that I'm very proud of, and it seems like code that I would have written if I had more time, I will take it, and I will use it, and I will own it, and I will deliver on that. So the challenge is really a more people challenge where you need to get people to align and understand the benefits, and then get them to explore more, and they will all evolve in their understanding and adoption of AI.
Fascinating. Brian, I know that you've both written a lot about this and so forth. How, as an executive, how do you think about, or how do you advise executives on thinking through these issues of productivity, but then also fairness, some of the emotional issues. We've seen in some of the data, Brynjolfsson's recent paper about, basically we're not hiring new folks, right? And that's been, there's different analyses that have shown that in different places. So how do you think about those dynamics?
Well, first, we are hiring.
Even young people? No.
Yes. But this is a real fascinating conversation because I work in innovation, and during this time, I'm working on innovation internally and externally, but in particular to our users. So the number one thing that people are looking for in an era of the unknown are use cases. So what is everybody doing so that I can mimic that? So we have a group called Now on Now, which is a group that treats our company as customer zero. And what we'll do is we'll adopt our own AI, we'll adopt our own workflows, and then we'll report on what we're learning. So for example, we see with IT, HR, and services, the ability to automate repetitive tasks, not in a way like RPA would address it, but like actual tasks that someone would do. And the other thing that we're doing is we're communicating out what we're learning, what we're finding, and what we're improving. And then what we're doing now is trying to push people out of those quick win mindsets towards differentiated use cases and eventually transformative use cases, which are what are we doing with the time saved? Because that's a conversation that isn't had as much as the automation question is trying to be answered. And when you focus on automation, that's where jobs start to really come in. But if you're able to think about augmentation now, you're now able to break down a workflow and then roles by tasks and then redesign towards outcomes. And I actually think this is where the future's headed.
Excellent. And how do you manage to that on a day-to-day basis?
Well, let's just put it this way. It is creating, AI in its own special way is actually creating more work to do because you're having to manage against what your expectation is in terms of productivity and outcomes. But then you're also working towards realizing that there's new opportunities. And so now you're working towards that innovation side. And by the way, just for clarification, I break down this conversation into two fragments. One is iteration, which is doing what we did yesterday better to tomorrow. Yep. Then innovation, which is creating new value, so what you didn't do yesterday. And so that's why this conversation gets bigger, is that when you're managing towards both, or at least you should be.
Yes. Interesting. And Urshit, I know at Mayfield, in talking with you and some of your colleagues, there's certainly a strong feeling that AI is going to, if you will, reinvent the whole software stack. Yeah. And so when you make those investments, how do you think about it in terms of productivity, innovation? What do you look for in those investments?
So I think the stack that you're referring to is what we call this cognition AI stack, right? Yes. Where it starts with hardware infrastructure, it goes to data, middleware, applications, and then at the topmost layer is what we call the cognition.
Can I just pause on that for a minute? I mean, that's a pretty bold thesis, right? You guys are, and you're thinking about that over a 10-year period, maybe?
Yes, we're thinking that in the next 10 years, it'll get as pervasive, right? Like there won't be a separate AI industry, right? AI will just kind of be embedded in everything and how everyone does business.
But also disrupt the incumbents unless they transform.
Yeah, I think what will happen is any organization that doesn't learn how to effectively get results with AI will kind of get left behind, right? They will get disrupted per se. And so when we are investing, what we are looking for is founders and companies that can so AI has a lot of issues and problems. It's not good for everything, but it is good for enough things.
Yes.
And so whoever is able to drive adoption fastest with what AI is capable of today, and do it in a responsible manner and a very human-centric manner, right? Yeah. So our whole thing is, for example, we have a portfolio company that sells into health systems. Most health systems are unionized, and one of their competitors comes to market essentially saying, we are going to do $10 AI nurses. Yes. This company can basically, and look, our AI, we can pass the AI nursing exams, or our AI can pass all the nursing exams. This company comes and says, we are doing AI nursing assistants, right? Yeah. And clearly, the workforce really opts for this latter strategy. So I think how we talk about it ends up being really important in enabling the adoption. So there's the technical side, and then there's the human side.
Yes.
So I think the AI workforce will sort of coexist with the human workforce, but there can't be a know-it-all mindset in an AI workforce or an AI solution.
Yeah, so this notion of the ratio of digital workers to carbon-based workers, right?
Every carbon-based worker will basically be a supervisor for a bunch of digital workers.
Yeah.
So everyone's a manager, everyone's a leader.
Yep.
But AI will have to be collaborative.
Okay, so we're seeing productivity, innovation, really speed of adoption seems to be, regardless of value proposition, seems to be a critical thing that you're thinking of as investors.
Yeah, because I think what we are finding is that even for emerging companies, when you had sort of the SaaS era, it would take companies 7 to 10 years to get to 100 million in revenues. Right?
Yes.
Today with AI, you're seeing stuff that is finding fast adoption, even in sort of business settings, not all large enterprise settings, but small and mid-business settings, getting to 100 million in revenues within 2 years.
Yeah, what Cursor did it, in 8 months or something? I mean,
Yes,
unbelievable.
And that was clearly bottoms-up developer first, but this is like products that are sold to businesses.
Yes. And I want them to Tarun, because Tarun built out a massive data infrastructure, which was purchased by Wesco, and now your new company is, I think, dealing with a services layer on top of that. So how do you think about this when you think of productivity? Like, is it productivity? Is it innovation? What?
I think it's a combination of all. It's productivity, it's innovation, it's actually automating and AIing the mundane, right? And in the enterprise, when we talk to our customers, there are three things that resonate with what we are seeing. The first one is, hey, can AI help me bring more growth in my business? Can it help me with more revenue generation? Can I transform my digital customer experience? So a lot of AI today is focusing on how can you transform that customer experience, right? The second area is, okay, I have operations, and my operations is problematic. Like Urshit gave a very good example of healthcare, right? I mean, they really consistently try to figure out how can they reduce the time from a person walks in the door to the time to the medical room to the time they go back, right? So that's an operations problem. So how can you help with operations and help improve that? And then the third one is customer retention or customer satisfaction. How can you use AI to provide more better customer satisfaction or more better retention, right? So those are the areas that every enterprise is looking at. How can AI help me? And every business leader is going to their technology team and saying, can you help me in this? If you're a CRO, you're trying to figure out, hey, how can I use Salesforce or CRM to make my sales team better, right?
Sure.
And so those are the areas we see.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're seeing also a lot of emphasis on the funnel. Everything from optimizing on people finding you in the model, from search engine optimization to answer engine optimization, all the way down through retention. Seems to be a focus now, especially private equity, which is really coming in strong. And also, if folks have questions, please, I'll try to weave in a few questions as we go along. I know our time is short. I want to turn, so it sounds like we have a combination of productivity and innovation, real business growth in terms of what's going on. Can we deal with some of the issues around, it seems like this is a market where there's a lot of fear. Okay, there's fear. You talked a little bit about it in terms of, at the individual level. And then there's also fear at the security level and fear at the ownership level. Should I allow these hyperscalers to get into my important data, my important skills and capabilities, my cognitive capital, that kind of thing? How much do you think, what's your sense of the relationship between managing that fear and how do you do it, and adoption and productivity and innovation? So I don't know.
Yeah, I can go first if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I see fear at two levels. First is the internal adoption level,
Yes.
which I was talking about when it comes to software engineers or any kind of.
Yeah, you were saying old guys basically can't hack it. That's what I heard.
I mean, the reality is like when you look at AI and its capability without the proper context, you feel like AI might be replacing software engineers to a certain degree. So there is, when I talked about the spectrum of adoption and concern, there is a corner where software engineers are feeling like maybe this is going to take my job at the end of the day. Sure. AI is capable of doing more. If I build these agents and these agents are writing code and reviewing and fixing bugs, what I'm needed for. But what I liked from Brian earlier is like that time you save. If AI can do some of your work, let's say 50% of your work, you have now 50% of your other time left to do more. Some of it, you need to use it to review the outcome of the AI, to train AI to do better next time. Because again, we know all AI has some challenges and is not 100% accurate, like human beings, like software engineers. But the level of adoption and trust in AI should be reviewed and controlled on a continuous level. And then the other fear I see, and I have seen over time, and when it comes to enterprise AI adoption, is customers feeling like, oh, you're using AI in this? Like, I work for BetterWorks, and BetterWorks is in the HR tech space. And our customers are have very sensitive data. It's a compliance-heavy space. So when you introduce AI at the beginning, there were a lot of fear and concerns. They were not ready. At the end of the day, they didn't have the legal review, the ethical review, the performance, frameworks ready to have AI embedded. So they were like taking some distance, like, I don't want AI to be involved. But over time, it flipped upside down, where customers now, from their top leadership, coming back to us and saying, hey, what AI has to offer? Show me your current product and show me your product roadmap. Where are you going to introduce AI?
Yeah.
And that fear over time is kind of coming to the other, in another way, where it's becoming more like a catalyst for adoption.
Yeah.
Where at the beginning, they are afraid to be behind at the end of the day, not using AI in this kind of space.
Yeah, it's interesting. I serve on a couple of boards, and we're asking our auditors, okay, tell us your AI roadmap and how that's going to relate to our fees, for the audit, right? So we're seeing providers feeling the pressure from their customers back through.
That's exactly what we have, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Tarun, how do you think about this issue of?
Yeah, I think, first of all, AI is happening and adoption of AI is very real. And, when you go through the internet commerce, the web 2.0, mobile, cloud era, this is very different. It's not like I will see. I'm not so sure. It's not that. It's I want it. Okay. And the way I feel like this conversation goes, especially in enterprise, is it has to start with security. So at Groove, we actually have 300 plus domain experts on security. And we natively use AI to enhance our security. So the attack surface because of AI is huge.
Yeah.
And it's not just external, it's also internal. In fact, the internal is much bigger than external, right? So I think security is the first natural conversation. The second is data. And when it comes to enterprise, enterprises don't have high quality data. They have a lot of data. They have a lot of valuable data, but the quality of the data is somewhere between 60 to 70%. When we go into a customer meeting, and I'll take a good example like CRM, right?
Yes.
And we just ask one question, hey, how much do you trust your data in Salesforce? And usually I get a bunch of laughs in the room, right?
Sure. Oh, you have it here, right? Yeah.
And it's very common because I've been in enterprises and we lack governance around data sometimes, or it only takes a couple of years and you miss on governance, and now you have a lot of so I think that data quality is very important. So security, data quality, and the third one is what is it that you want AI to do, right? That is the most important question. Don't worry about ROI right now. Don't worry about KPIs right now. Figure out what is it that you want AI to do, and it needs to fit those three buckets. It's growth, it's operations, or it's how do I improve my customer satisfaction, right? So I think that's where we see where it is headed, and that's what I personally feel about it too.
Yeah, Tarun,
Can I quickly follow up on
please.
On the ROI? I think the ROI comes later because you're not gonna go around it, because as you build AI is expensive. And then if you have been building AI for like cheap or free on top of your product, at the end of the day, you'll be asked the question like, is it worth it? Is my investment worth it? So ROI will come at the end of the day, we like it or not.
Yeah, it's fascinating on this ROI question. I think one of the big things is time frame. And if you know folks who work at Amazon, in many parts of Amazon, I think across the company, their time window for a capital project, so even all the way down to the manager level, is 5 years. 5 years. So if you can show that it's got a 5-year return, you may get the capital to do it. That's way longer than most organizations. And And there's some good empirical work that says if you think about the proper time frame for a technology investment and its return, it's 4 years. So it's right in there, 4 or 5 years if you're really building assets, really investing and making. But how many organizations have a 4 or 5 year window, right? Very few.
Yeah, especially there's research that shows that CEOs, because they're not technologists,
Yeah.
are expecting that actual ROI in 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, well, which you can get, but that if you think of circles of possible improvement, you're only getting the inner circle. Right? It's like planting corn and going out 2 weeks later and saying, I'm hungry. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of silly.
No, but this is where I was the trust factor is really critical. And so, when a small organization is doing something greenfield, it's so much easier than doing brownfield. So a lot of the adoption that we see is like what looks like greenfield-like situations.
Yep.
My recommendation on the enterprise side of the house is to look at things that are already getting outsourced or things that are already in the cloud.
Yeah.
It's like if outsourcing or cloud or things not on the internet after all these years, there's a reason you probably haven't put them out.
Yes.
Those become sort of the candidates. You already have some version of an sort of outsourced mindset on how some of those things happen. You have a way to measure performance
Sure.
on something that you put out there. So that
Sure.
kind of brings more accountability out
Yep.
into the process. And then it'll have to be walk, crawl, run, right? I think there's just so much fear, uncertainty, and excitement, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time we have an innovation that has come out that is immediately accessible to billions of people, right? If we look at each of the previous waves, like the internet, there was tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people, right? Like phones. So now that everyone in the organization is there, so if you can say, here are the places where go innovate first,
Yes.
and then sort of enable and empower
Yeah.
the teams to be like everyone on the front line to kind of come and create a collaborative mindset.
Sure.
And it may require some controversial things like, we won't fire people for sort of like
Sure.
that fear is real.
Yes.
So somewhere along the way, we'll have to kind of go ahead and say, okay, we'll do our performance reviews, but we're not going to do major layoffs because of AI.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. Anytime you have an innovation, right, you create a surplus if it's successful. And the question is, do you share it with the customer, do you share it with the investor, or with the labor?
Yeah.
Right? And I believe those organizations, and when Henry Ford, did Ford, he not only did automation, but he doubled the daily wage from $2.50 a day to $5 a day. So he shared it with the customer and the labor.
Yeah.
And I personally, I think that's a more winning strategy over time.
Yeah.
Any questions here? I think we have time for like one. Yes, Bill?
Yeah, I have a question for you. So wait for the microphone.
Oh, sorry, got a mic coming over here, Bill?
That's fast.
Thank you. Bunch of old guys on stage. Young guys often are now starting companies by themselves, no employees at all, moving forward. That is radical change, in fact, of corporate organization. It may wind up, in fact, that you don't have divisions inside those organizations. They all wind up being centric in one spot. What will these companies of the future look like based on the entrepreneurs that you're seeing coming in and based on the research that you're doing in your now stuff?
Yeah, really interesting. Are we going to see a descaling of organizations in terms of humans?
I think it's already happening.
Yeah.
Right? I think when I look at like some of the tools I use, there is so much data and so much research I can capture so quickly.
Yes.
That it's eliminating the need to have like a few roles in the organization, right? And it's dramatically changing within the enterprise. You won't see that change like in a sliver of a time, but if you look at it over a longer period, you're going to see a dramatic change. And I think especially in the consumer side of the business, it could be very real that you could have a company with just a few people.
Yes.
That are like billion-dollar companies because they're able to scale that much faster. And it's all these underlying technologies that are provided by the hyperscalers that is actually enabling that.
Yes.
Right? I mean, 25 years ago, if you wanted to just set up an IT organization, you would need a separate networking person, a separate compute person, separate storage person. Today, you don't need all of that. Cloud gives you hyperscalers give you pretty much a lot out of the box, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's very real. I think consumer is the first place you will see a lot more faster. And then enterprise, I think over over a good period of time, you will see a lot of transformational changes in the organization structure and the roles.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Brian, I know you must be worried about this in your transfer.
This is all I think about.
Well, we got to get you out more, Brian.
There are a couple factors happening here. This is the AI native model that is largely touted out of Silicon Valley. One of many. That mindset is if you need a function to be solved, then it's first looked at if off-the-shelf AI can handle it. If not, you can build it. If you can't build it, then you can consider a human being. But there's three different types of companies we're seeing right now: AI native, AI first, and then also AI forward. So those more traditional organizations that are trying to learn from the other two to figure out how do we blend human and machine to make the work that we're doing at scale more efficient. There's another element that I want to go back to introduce into this mindset. Mindset, you said earlier, it's such an important word right now. There is where companies, I call ROI, return on ignorance, where companies are going to find themselves into trouble is if they're using AI to continue that linear plateau. John, I think we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
What AI native companies are unlocking inherently and what legacy companies can unlock as well when they shift their mindset is that augmented performance.
Yep.
So if you focus on linear and this exponential opportunity, you can actually drive growth on both fronts. But this is the part that needs new infrastructure, needs new ops, needs new management, needs new measurables, and a supporting culture of empowerment around those fronts. But this is why, not to plug, but I wrote a book called Mind Shift that just came out that says we need new leaders because that's a new type of leadership that's required to bend your organization into a new direction.
Yeah. I know we're just about out of time. I wanted to ask one lightning round question, and I want to share with you a question I get a lot from everybody from audiences to friends and neighbors, which is, what should my kid do? What should my kid study? You know, let's assume the kid is mid-teens, okay? What's your answer? Yeah.
I still believe computer science and AI. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I have a daughter in college, and my thing is like AI is a form of expression. Use it to actually get stuff done.
Uh-huh.
To your previous question, what cloud enabled was a 14-people company that got acquired for $1.4 billion. That was Instagram.
Yeah.
I think with AI, you're going to have one-people companies that'll be worth billions of dollars.
Yeah, 100%. I actually studied this. My answer is creativity.
Creativity?
I actually have a 12-year-old.
Okay.
And it's very tough to tell her what to learn. But I encourage her to play tennis. She loves doing that, even though she doesn't watch the games, but she plays it like crazy.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, I think it's the basic sciences, which is core math, communication, English, physics. It's those basic sciences that I think are very critical. Engineering, or whatever field you choose to pursue, is dramatically going to transform by the time you get to college. So I think if your core fundamentals are strong in that mid-teen years,
Yes.
I don't think you'll have a problem figuring out where to go in your life.
Critical thinking, too.
Right. All right. On that note, please join me in thanking our panelists. Thank you. Thank you.